Hey, grade 5, this is Mrs. McFadden, and I'm going to try out giving you a lesson on my computer screen today. Okay, so this lesson is for our Jump Math pages in our textbook, which is pages 85 to 86. And before you start that lesson, I want you to listen to this just to give you the background for what we're learning today. Okay, so our big idea right now is dividing, and the key that we need to figure out is knowing when to multiply or divide. So we're going to start out with some mental math. So if you want to look at this, and you can try to do it in your head, or else you can use a scrap piece of paper. So all the words that are in blue are the vocabulary words that we want to understand for your lesson today and for math. So the first word is sets. So that word just means the group of rectangles. So we want to figure out how many sets there are, or how many rectangles there are. So if we count them, we can see there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to type that in here. I have 3 sets. Now I want to figure out how many objects are in each set. So I'm going to count the objects in our first set, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to write that down here. So I've got 5 in there. And now I'm going to figure out what the total number of objects is. So in order to do that, I'm going to count by 5s. So I'm going to use a line here so I can tally. So 5, 10, 15. I'm guessing you can go faster than that. And I'm going to write that down here. So that's our job again over here. We're figuring out how many sets there are. So how many circles are in the set? Sorry, how many circles there are? That's the sets. How many objects in each set? And then you can skip count. In this case, we're looking at skip counting by 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Okay, so you go ahead and do these 4. You can pause it if you want. You can either write it down, or if you can do it in your head, that's the mental math piece that will help you on the go. All right. So last week, you did some lessons on knowing how to share things equally. And if we know how to share equally, we know how to divide. So I'm going to write this number on our whiteboard right here. So the number that I have, I'm going to write 10. And here, oh, let's see if I can move it down a little bit. Thank you for your patience. Okay, my next number, 2. And 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Just like I was saying, if you know how to multiply, you know how to divide. So 2 times 5 is 10. Just the opposite of each other. So in division, we know how many we want to divide, and we know the number in each group, or the numbers of the groups. So if we look at this first box here on this line, this is where we put the number to be divided up. So in this case, it's 10. This is the biggest number we have that we're going to divide up. Then, under this blank here, this is where we put the number we know, which is either the number in each group or the number of groups. So how many items there are all together, right? The number to divide up, and the number in each group, or the numbers of groups. And then this right here is where the answer goes, whatever that is. Okay, and for this particular question, when in division, we call the answer a quotient. In addition, it's a sum. In division, it's a quotient. So that's what that word is. It just means the answer to a division question. So you can go ahead and pause it, and in your house, I want you to go and grab 15 counters. It could be 15 pieces of Lego, 15 pencil crayons, 15 popcorn kernels, whatever works for you. Once you get it, come on back. You're going to divide it into sets of 3. 15, so you have 15 altogether, and you're going to divide them into 3 equals of 5, okay? And then, so pause it, go get what you need, and then press play when you come back. Okay, so if we were to write an equation for what you just made at home, our equation would be 15 divided by, here's my divided by, 3 equals 5. Now, you can go ahead and see if you can take your 15 things, and this time I want you to make it 15 divided by 2 and tell me what it equals. And 15 divided by, see if that equals an even number. This time we'll do 15 divided by 5 and see what that equals. Okay, now this next piece that we're going to look at, this is our vocabulary that we were talking about. So this will help you to answer some of your questions in your book. So let's take the same big idea. This time we're pretending we have pencils. So there's 8 pencils in each box. There are 5 boxes. How many pencils are there all together? So we know the sets are the boxes, right? If we were to draw that out as a picture, we would have the sets as the boxes. That's 5. And then there's 8 in each box, and we want to figure out how many pencils are there all together. So if I was to count that up, I'd be counting by 5s 8 times, which would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Or I could go ahead and say that 5 times, where's my pencil, times 8 equals 40. Okay, so take a look at the second one and see if you can figure that out. It says each dog has 4 legs. There are 3 dogs. How many legs all together? You'll note that in this case, we're multiplying. So pause it if you need to. I'm going to keep going on and see what you find out. Okay, so we know the number of sets and the number of objects in each set, but we don't know the total number of objects. So our numbers can change, and that's where we just figure out if we need to multiply or divide. So the number of sets times the number of objects in each set equals the total number of objects. That's one kind of question we could have. So in that case, we are multiplying. We know there's 3 sets and 2 objects in each set. So if I was to draw that, I would know there's, oh, that's a circle. Let's try a square. I would know there's 3 sets, 1, 2, 3, 2 objects in each set. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. How many objects are there in total? I can go 3 times 2, which I know is 6, or I can count it, 2, 4, 6. And we can just write equals 6. So take a look at the second one and see if you can do it to get started. Our next type of question is we know there's a total number of objects. So now this time we know the total number of objects and the number of objects in each set, but we don't know the number of sets. So for example, if there are 4 objects in each set, so this time I know we have, let's see what I can draw it out with, 4 objects in each set. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's a set. And I know I have 12 altogether. I have to figure out how many of these boxes I needed to get 12. So 4 I'd write this underneath just so I can get the multiplication equation. 4 times what equals 12? 4 times what equals 12? And that's what I have to figure out. That would be 3. So you can draw it or you can write the multiplication question. But we're trying to figure out how many we need all together. That's the second type of questions that you'll see. And the last type of question that you'll see is this time we know the total number of objects and the number of sets. So that would look like this. We know the total number of objects and the number of sets. So if I was to look at this one, it says if there are 6 sets and 12 objects in total, how many objects in each set? For example, 6 sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 12 objects in total. So I know this time my equation is going to look like this, equals 12. How many objects in each box? So in this case, that would be 6 times what equals 12? I'm going to write that out if you're looking. 6 times what equals 12? So I have to figure out how many boxes I'm putting in. That would be 6 times 2, in which case I'd want to make sure that I have 2 in each box. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's the last kind of question that you're going to see today. If you want to practice that one, you can take a look at this here and just do it below on a scrap piece of paper, or if you want to do it in your head, that is fine too. You can draw it out or you can write the equation. Okay, so now you're going to take that information and look at page 85, and that should help you to see what you have to do. Okay, thanks so much. Have fun.